The ritual you think is forbidden. What is forbidden in one religion was commanded in another religion in the world. What today leads to execution was yesterday's salvation. Human sacrifice. The ritual of human sacrifice was a common practice in Mesoamerican cultures. Like the role of sacrifice in other parts of the world, it seems these rites served as a kind of atonement for Aztec devotees. Human sacrifice was, in this sense, the highest level of a whole range of offerings through which the Aztecs sought to repay their debt to the gods. Few people know, but many were sacrificed willingly, believing that their death would prevent the fifth sun from collapsing like the previous four. The victim was called a Teixiptla, image of God. Often a warrior who had been honored for a year, well-fed, and given lovers. The Aztec priest Tlamacasqui did not use anesthesia. In the ritual, the victim was awake. Lying on the Tecatl stone, 4 assistants held the limbs. The priest used an obsidian blade, sharper than modern surgical steel, and cut below the rib cage. A quick upward stroke. The heart came out still beating. The Phoenicians practiced the Molk ritual, the sacrifice of children to Moloch. Archaeological sites in Carthage contain thousands of urns with the charred bones of babies. Biblical accounts called it passing children through the fire. Leviticus 18:21 forbids it, meaning it was common enough to warrant a law. The Celts had wicker men, giant figures stuffed with livestock and criminals, who were then burned alive. Julius Caesar documented this in the Gallic Wars, though historians debate whether he exaggerated for propaganda purposes. The message was simple but powerful. Blood feeds the gods. No blood, no harvest. No harvest, no survival. Cannibalism rituals. This can change the way you see your faith. Christianity's central ritual is consumption of divine flesh. This is my body. Take and eat. Transubstantiation doctrine claims the wafer literally becomes Christ's flesh. Orthodox theology, not metaphor. What almost nobody notices is that this makes Eucharist the only legally protected cannibalism ritual in the modern world. But the truth is that literal sacred cannibalism has deep roots. The Aghori sect in India consumes human corpse flesh from cremation grounds, believing it destroys ego and achieves moksha. They drink from skull bowls, kapala, meditate on cadavers, smear themselves with cremation ash. Not devil worship, Shiva worship, breaking the ultimate taboo to transcend duality. The Foray people of Papua New Guinea practiced mortuary cannibalism, eating deceased relatives as a sign of respect and to house their spirits. Then came Kuru, a prion disease transmitted through consuming infected brain tissue. Victims lost motor control, laughed uncontrollably, then died. The epidemic killed over 2,000 people before anthropologists connected it to the ritual in 1957. Necromancy and speaking to the dead. There's something that most people ignore. The Bible forbids necromancy in Deuteronomy 18:11, yet King Saul practices it in 1 Samuel 28. Desperate before battle, he disguises himself and visits the witch of Endor, demanding she summon the prophet Samuel's spirit. She succeeds. Samuel's ghost rises, furious at being disturbed, and prophesies Saul's death. The text doesn't say it was a trick or demon. It says Samuel came up from the ground. Tibetan Buddhism has Chöd ritual. Practitioners meditate in charnel grounds, visualizing their own bodies being consumed by demons, using kangling, human thigh bone trumpets, to summon spirits. Not evil. Enlightenment practice. Confronting death to destroy attachment to the self. The Greeks had Nekiomanteia, oracle temples built over supposed gates to Hades. Petitioners drank hallucinogenic mixtures, descended into dark chambers, and spoke with the dead. Archaeological excavations at Ephyra in Greece found elaborate underground chambers with acoustic tricks and chemical residues. The mystery that connects heaven and earth. Real magic or theater? Both served the same function. Blood rituals. Few people know that some of Christianity's most sacred imagery comes from rituals the Church later banned. Medieval flagellants whipped themselves in public processions, believing their blood atoned for community sins during the Black Death. The Church initially approved, then condemned them when they claimed no priests were needed, only self-inflicted suffering. Shia Islam's Tatbir ritual during Ashura involves striking one's head with swords or blades until blood flows, commemorating Hussein ibn Ali's martyral death. Many Shia authorities forbid it, calling it innovation, bid'ah, but millions still practice it. Sexual sacred rites. The Hebrew word kadeshah appears in the Old Testament, usually translated as temple prostitute. But linguists debate, does it mean cult prostitute or simply consecrated woman? What's undisputed? Sexual rituals existed in ancient Near Eastern temples. Mesopotamian temples of Ishtar employed Ishtaritu, sacred priestesses who performed sexual rites as offerings to the goddess. Herodotus claimed every Babylonian woman had to serve once in the temple, lying with a stranger as religious duty. The Greek Eleusinian mysteries included secret rites that initiates were forbidden to reveal on pain of death. Classical writers hint at sexual symbolism, the hieros gamos, sacred marriage, between priest and priestess representing cosmic union. We'll never know the details. The secret was kept so well that it died with the last initiate. Self-mutilation for gods. The priests of Cybele, the Phrygian mother goddess, castrated themselves in ecstatic ritual. Called Gali, they performed the act during the spring festival of Dies Sanguinis, Day of Blood, using a sharp stone, then ran through the streets bleeding. This wasn't isolated. The Skoptsi, a Russian Christian sect, 18th–19th century, practiced castration believing it was the only path to purity. They cited Matthew 19:12. There are eunuchs who have made themselves eunuchs for the kingdom of heaven. Thousands of men, and some women who underwent mastectomy, joined the sect. The Russian Orthodox Church declared them heretics. The Soviet government imprisoned them. Hindu Taipusam festival includes kavadi bearing. Devotees pierce their bodies with hooks, skewers, and spears, carry heavy frameworks, kavadi, and walk for miles while in trance. Devotees report no pain. They've surrendered their bodies to Murugan. Binding and cursing magic. Ancient curse tablets, deficciones, have been found by the thousands across the Roman Empire. Lead sheets inscribed with names, folded, pierced with nails, and buried or thrown in wells. Not by witches, by ordinary citizens, cursing business rivals, cursing thieves, cursing lovers who rejected them. One tablet from 2nd century Athens reads, I bind the Agens the shopkeeper, his soul and mind and tongue and plans, that he may fail in the marketplace and lose all his customers. The true meaning is surprising. Cursing was normalized, commercial, accessible. Why they were banned? Here's the revelation that few perceive. Forbidden rituals weren't banned because they were fake. They were banned because they threatened the monopoly on power. When individuals could sacrifice directly to gods, priests lost control. While many believed that bans came from moral evolution, the historical record tells a different story. The Council of Laodicea, 363 AD, prohibited Christians from practicing divination, making amulets, or consulting enchanters. Why? Because these practices were working too well. People trusted local magic more than distant bishops. The ban wasn't about protecting souls, it was about centralizing spiritual authority. See you in the next video.